Hey guys, welcome back to another video on the Screen Cinema. When it comes to taking risks, Chumlee never disappoints everyone around him. He would jump right at them, and here are 7 times where he did just exactly that. Chumlee decided to go bold when he purchased a vintage iron which he thought to be a gasoline iron, but he later discovered from Rick that the iron was in fact a kerosene iron, because a gasoline iron would be very dangerous in the first place. Chumlee, with little knowledge of what the thing actually was, decided to pay the customer $35, and no one knows if the item was even worth that much. A panel of comic books was presented to Chumlee in the gold and silver pawn shop, but just because it was a comic book panel did not make it special at all. The selling point of the panel was that it was signed by 2 ultimate legends of comic books, Stan Lee and John Romita. Chumlee went straight to Stan Lee to verify it, and it was proven to be a real item. It was definitely Chumlee's lucky day when a woman came into gold and silver pawn shop with 7 boxes of comic books that belonged to her uncle who had passed away. Chumlee did no evaluations and made a deal with the woman for a total of $500. It was discovered later that the comic books were not rare at all. This surely did make Rick angry, but if Chumlee were to sell all of those comics, he still might be able to make profits out of it. Once, Corey Harrison and Chumlee were taking a visit to a customer who was willing to sell his Buick Regal from the late 80s. Chumlee just couldn't stop himself from purchasing this piece of art. It turned out to be quite dramatic, as Corey was able to initially strike a deal with the owner for $1,500, but suddenly Chumlee offered to pay a total of $2,000 out of his own pocket so that he could keep the vehicle for himself. Chumlee took a huge risk having his personal life interfere with business dealings, but luckily for Chumlee, the Harrisons were not that mad. When a customer got into the pawn shop claiming that he possessed vintage Air Jordans, both Chumlee and Corey were very surprised. When Chumlee took a closer look, he was able to tell that the shoes were actually from 2009. After hearing that, Corey backed out of the deal, but Chumlee came over and brought the shoes for $75. Considering the shoes were not real at all, Chumlee took a huge risk by even paying $75 for them. But then some people say that maybe those shoes might actually turn out to be worth more than that. The Japanese katana swords from the 17th century surely were a definite steal for the pawn shop owners. These katana swords were passed down in the family of single samurai for centuries, and were even used in World War II. Rick had these swords specifically sent to Japan so they could be refurbished and he could keep them for himself. But as soon as Dana White came into the gold and silver pawn shop, Chumlee sold these swords and a few others for a total of $69,000. He took a huge damn risk with Rick, but since Rick was not apparently pissed off, everything might be just fine. Hey, hold up. Before we move to number 1, do us a favor and please subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to hit the bell icon so that you don't miss out on any of our videos. Alright, let's move on to the finale. This made Rick go nuts after Chumlee gave around $4,000 to a customer who merely claimed to bring in real ninja swords. But contrary to what he had thought, the swords were found to be original. Since the swords had fascinated Chumlee, he decided to go with his gut and not call in an expert to have a look. When Rick got to know about this, he called the local swords expert to have a look at the items and estimate their net worth. It must have been a very relieving moment for Chumlee when the expert claimed the swords to have a worth of around $13,000. Considering the fact that Chumlee usually brought in some profits even with the risks he took, no one is probably very concerned about Chumlee's work at the pawn shop. Well, this brings us to the end of our video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you haven't liked the video yet, it's never too late. Give it a thumbs up, people. We will see you soon in another video. Until then, take care and goodbye.